Hey, it's Jeremy. I went and done a thing yesterday. Went and bought a car. I used to always have a car when I was younger, a car and a truck, since I've been married, I haven't really had my own car because my wife's always had a car. So, last 25 years or so for myself, I've just bought trucks. Anyway, I got to thinking maybe I'd like to have a car again. So I bought one. Paid the guy for it yesterday. Got to look, and the front tires weren't in very good shape, so I got a ways to drive this thing home. So I took the wheels off there in his driveway, and I brought him to Galesburg and had new tires put on them. I'm on my way now to pick them up. I might go over and try to get them bolted back on there today. I don't know if I'll bring the car home today or wait till tomorrow or maybe even Saturday, because I got to get somebody to take me up to get it. Probably Savannah, Carol. Anyway, man, there's a lot of options out there on cars these days. What do you buy? I mean, there's so many different things, and backup cameras and hybrids, and man, what a decision. Anyway, I found something I like, so I got it, and hopefully bring it home next day or two. Updates to come. But no, that car never did drive funny or pull or. I'll get a bill, and if you decide that you're interested in it, then you can take it out. Jeremy. You might have seen me bring the old car home the other day at 40 Ford. I drove it quite a few miles to get here. Old car done good, made it. Let's come in here and anyway, old car made it good. Did notice a few issues with it though. Okay, maybe you can see this. When I bought this car, I got a new windshield for it that came with the car. Looking at the old windshield, it is just about ready to come out of here. The rubber is so rotten that it is just disintegrating as you're driving down the road. Every time you hit a bump, you lose a little bit more. And if it wasn't bad enough, the rubber doing this, the glass is just coming apart. It is just shot. Okay, the next problem is we've got a little bit of rust up on this lip. And I've got to fix that lip before I put the new rubber on. Most of it is pretty good. Just right up at the top here, just in a few spots, you will see that it's getting pretty thin. So I've got to rebuild that lip, okay? That doesn't look too bad, but here's the problem. The lip up here where the garnish molding goes, and you're not gonna be able to see this, but it is completely rotted out. So I've got to fix this at the same time. If I try to fix it later, I'm gonna melt the rubber, the new rubber for the new windshield. So all of this has to get rebuilt before I put the rubber on. Okay, and then don't dare start up a MIG welder in here with these seats, because as soon as a spark hits any of this, I'm gonna have an instant fire. So I'm gonna have to pull these seats, vacuum all the flammable stuff out, and get this all stripped down, and then I can start addressing this windshield issue. And as soon as I do, I will put the new windshield in it. And that's gonna happen next year before I drive it. The other thing I'm gonna do is while the seats are out, I'm gonna fix these floors. You can't see them well here now. I'll get them in the next video. But we're gonna put new floor pans in this, fix area around the windshield, and at the same time, probably put a new floor in the trunk. After that is done, all of the outside of the car is pretty solid. I don't have too much left to do at that point. If I get the distributor, carburetor, whatever, get that issue fixed where it's running right, the car drives good. I mean, there's no weird steering issues. The brakes are good. The suspension seems good. I really think the car drives good. On the way home, of course, the speedometer don't work. Colton was following me in my truck, and I asked Colton, I said, felt like I was moving right along. How fast did I get it up to? And Colton says, I was doing 65 or 70 on that one straightaway, and he said, I wasn't catching you. So I'm thinking I was doing, a good 70 mile an hour, and the car drove okay. It's just a little hard to get it up to 70 with that. It doesn't want to rev up. That's the thing. It idles good, starts good, doesn't want to rev up. So we're going to get the motor running right, the windshield fixed so it don't wind up in my lap, and then we're going to put new floors in this thing. And probably after those three things are done, the next thing is going to be a wiring harness so we can get turn signals and headlights working, and horn, that kind of thing. And then probably side windows for the doors and the wing vents. And then after that, summer will be here, and we're going to see how many miles we can put on this thing. I'm going to take it to every car show around. I'm going to see how far I can take it. I might even cross some state lines in this, and that will be cool. The old 40 Ford, I brought it home, made a few videos of that, put it in the garage. I haven't worked on the car at all yet. No, the only thing I've done to it is put two front tires on it. Other than that, I've Never touched a wrench to it. Had it about 2 weeks, I think. Anyway, I'm out in the garage today, and my plan is to remove this back seat. My wife, Carol, she wants to get it inside, get it cleaned up, the frame, and just see if it can have some foam and padding put back on it and get a cover back on it. I think this frame's going to be in pretty bad shape, but I don't know, maybe it's good enough that we can, you know, do something with it to make it a little bit better. This car, I'm not going to do too much to the outside of it right now. I want to keep this barn fresh look or timberline fresh look that it has. But let me pan around here. The problem is we've been driving this just a little bit out on the country roads and stuff. This car, the seats and the interior in it are so dirty and tore up that as you're driving it, you've just got dirt falling on you and getting all over you. And the headliner, or where the headliner used to be, is dropping stuff in your hair. And if we're going to actually drive this thing next summer, we have got to make it just a little bit more comfortable inside. And what I mean by that is clean it. So we're going to get these seats out of here. I've never taken these seats out of these before, so I got to see how it's done. But we're going to try to get these seats out of here today, inspect the floors, see what we got there, and see if the frames are worth recovering, and just kind of get this shop backed out and cleaned up. And we are going to do a little interior work to this car. So updates here in a minute. I got the back seat removed from this car, the bottom portion of it. What you do there is you kind of push in on a little bit and then lift up, and then it clips in 2 clips on the front. After I got that out, I pulled up all the old rotten carpet and vacuumed the car out. There was some sound deadening down there. I peeled that out, and seam sealer. I got down to the bare floorboards. I'm getting ready to take the seat back out now. There's 2 half-inch bolts. I expect they're going to break off, but that's okay. I'll deal with that when I get under there. But let me pan around here and I'll show you what the floors look like. They're really not too bad. As you can see, there's some surface rust on there. All in all, I'm pretty happy with that. It's possibly better than I expected it to be. I might have to weld in a couple patches, but I'm not going to have to replace the whole floor pan. And that's good, because in order to do that right, you really need to take the body off the car. I didn't want to go that far with this car. If you look, there's a pinhole. These are grooves that go down. They're bead rolled down. There's pinholes right in the bottom portion where the low part of the bead roll would be. Water has set there. I don't think they're all like that, just a couple of them. Around the edges where the seam sealer was, everything looks real good. I'll clean that up, re-seam seal it. Same way with this side. I don't see any significant problems there. Nothing a little seam sealer can't take care of. Unfortunately, the seat springs were terrible. They're possibly not reusable. But let me go ahead and try to get this back out now, and we'll see what we got there. Getting these seat bolts out on this. The captive nuts are all breaking off when you go to turn them. The front two are down here, and you can't get a ratchet on them, but you can get a wrench on them. So I put a vice grips on the captive nuts from underneath. Got those out with a 9/16 wrench. The back two are way back in under there, and you can't get a wrench under there to do it. Very good. So what I did, these seats are bad enough shape anyway. They're coming out to get redone. I came in through the top with a bunch of extensions and got a 9/16 socket on it, straight in from the top. I got vice grips on the captive nut below, and I've just now got it broke loose. If you don't care about the seats, this is working pretty good to get them out. Otherwise, you're really going to have to fight with them. Going back in, I'll have new bolts, so it won't be as bad. But that's what I've come up with so far. Hey, it's Jeremy. Just finishing getting the seats out of this car and getting it all vacuumed out. I had a hell of a time getting that front seat out, but I finally got it. Bolts were rusty, didn't want to come loose. Captive nuts were spinning. Plus, hardest thing was there's no way to get to the bolts. I got online to one of the old Ford websites, and was reading. Them guys were saying on there is not an easy way to do that. You just fight with it and do it. So as you saw earlier in the video, I just went down from a top with them long extensions, and that's how I did it. And that worked real good if you don't care about your seat cover. But anyway, let me pan around here and I'll show you what these floors and stuff look like. I was reasonably happy. Got it all shot backed out. Already knew they were rusty in the front, so I was aware of that. I didn't know what the rest was going to look like. And as it turns out, I got pretty lucky. These floors are not too bad at all. They got surface rust on them, but there really isn't any holes. Small pinholes. I think I can, let me get this light set up so you can see. I think what I'm going to do, I got these two body mount bolts right here and right there. And everything back behind those is good. I think I'm going to cut this floor right in here and then replace everything forward, sills and floors, all the way up to those toe boards. Right in through there. And then the sills down here. I'm going to replace the floors this way and the sills down this way. Everything else I think I can repair. But as far as replacing, that's what I'm going to replace and then repair the rest. It's going to be real easy now to fix the rest above the windshield. I don't have to worry about catching the seats on fire. I'll get that repaired around the windshield, get the new windshield in, repair these floors and sills up to them bolts. And then I can lay down here and reach right under there and do my gauges, put in the painless wiring harness. It'll make it really much easier to wire with the seats out of it. And then go from there. That's really what I wanted to get done before I drove it much. After that, the rest of it's just icing on the cake for me. I might go ahead and put a headliner in it. And of course, we're going to put some seat covers on it before we, all my bars are there for the headliner. So that should work. You can buy those. I'm just going to buy one. We're going to get some covers on the seats. Buy a new carpet for it. If you can picture this now with seat covers, carpet, and a headliner, I mean, gosh, the rest of it ain't too bad, right? At least you'd stay clean. Hey, it's Jeremy. If you've made it this far, you've seen all the work I've done on the car so far. You've seen me bringing it home, and we took seats out, put the front tires on. So I realized I've never really gave you any history on this car. So I'm going to do that now. What happened, a guy I know, his name is Brian. I've known him for many, many years. And he messes with these old Ford cars, the old flatheads and stuff. back in 2017, he come showing up here at my house with that 40, and I just fell in love with it. I mean, how could you not? I mean, what happened is he found this thing. I don't know. It's kind of a local car. He found it in the area, but the guy he bought the car from was like an 80-year-old guy, and the guy had told Brian that the car was his mom's. It was his mother's car, and after she passed away or whatever, he just never got rid of it. It just sat around outside and everything. But when Brian bought it, the license plate on it was 1959. The car is a 40, and the last time it was licensed was 1959. You see these resurrections on TV with the, all the YouTubers doing it. The car's set 20 years or 30 years. This car's set for, oh my God, what, 60 years? I mean, anyway, Brian bought it. He took it home and got it running. He didn't have to hardly do anything to get it running. He said the motor wasn't hardly stuck. He had to break a couple valves loose, but he didn't pull the head off. He was able to just reach in there and pry him a little bit, and it come right loose. He put all new brakes on it, new fuel system, rebuilt distributor, wires, flushed the radiator. He put a different radiator in it and had the different one flushed. Just real basic stuff. Put new exhaust on it. He put 2 new back tires on it, but not front ones. Done just enough wiring to get the taillights working. And he put a license plate on it so he could drive it around in the daytime and not get pulled over. Very, very minor stuff. But what makes this car so special, what makes it different than any other car, is that it has survived in this condition without ever being touched. I mean, nobody's ever vacuumed it. Like all that stuffing you see hanging out of the seats, that's just how it deteriorated and ended up, I mean, it's never even been cleaned. And I hated to even start cleaning it because, in a way, it just needed to stay exactly like it was, with the mold and moss growing on it and the stuffing hanging out of the seats and everything. But I do plan on using this car, in the summer and car shows and driving around, and I got to make it just a little bit better, especially interior-wise, because the way it is now, it's not practical. So I am going to do some interior work on this car, as you've seen. The seats are inside now. They'll probably be in the next video, us doing something with the seats. But it's a very special car. And a very special car like that deserves a special name. And I've put a lot of thought in this. Here's what I come up with. The street I live on had a wonderful old-fashioned name. The street was named when the town was built in the late 1800s. Here a few years ago, they decided to change the name of our streets here in town. Now they're A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. They got rid of all the cool names and done that. Easier for first responders, I guess they said. The town's got 6 streets in it. I think they could have found where they were going. But anyway, I don't live on D Street. I live on Eliza Street. Eliza. What a wonderful name, Eliza. So I'm going to name the 40 Eliza. It's going to be the Eliza 40. The Eliza 40 Ford. The Eliza Street 40 Ford. Huh? Great, right? And stick with us. We've got other cool projects. We've got the 59 Chevy Apache. It'll be getting some work. We got a 77 square body. It's going to get some rust repair done on it, and more than that probably. I don't know if you guys are into motorcycles. There's a couple motorcycles around here we're going to work on. I have a 58 Simplex that's probably 2 days worth of work, 300 more bucks in parts, and it's running. I've had this thing for 30 years. I've rebuilt the engine. I've never started it. 30 years, I've never heard it run. Basically, I got to put a front tire on it, and it's ready to drive. So ride, drive, whatever. So if you're interested in that, we can do that. But we got a lot of great stuff coming up, and we're going to be taking a lot of trips in the 40 and the Apache as well. You'll see it next summer. I take that to drag races and events, People like seeing that truck. And we'll do the same with the 40. And every time it comes out of the garage, it's going to be a little bit better because I'm going to keep doing stuff to make it a little bit better. It might be something like, remind you of the movie Christine, where the car's got the one new headlight and the new windshield wipers on the broken windshield, things like that. It's probably kind of how the 40 will come together, because the 59 Apache, I took that truck clear off of the frame, and it was probably 3 years in my garage before I had it back on the road again. It took me that long to get it back together and running and driving from all that work. And I really don't want to go that far again with a car, at least not right now. And I'm thinking anything I do on the 40, I don't want to take it apart to where I can't get it back together within like 2 weeks. I mean, if I gotta take the motor out of it, for instance, I could put the motor back in, have it running within, a few days or a week. But as far as doing like a frame off and trying to do all that, nah, it takes too long. And it's just, I want to be able to enjoy the car, not just work on it constantly. And I don't care if it's perfect. So if I was going to make a car perfect, it would have probably been a nicer car. But the reason I like this car is because of the way it is, and it's going to stay the way it is, but it is going to get a little better. Anyway, this is going to be my first YouTube video, and I hope it's going to be the first of many. I'm going to try to keep the content interesting, and we're just going to have fun with it, and hope you have fun with it too. Keep watching us, we'll just see where it goes, right? That's all we can do. Hey, Jeremy, signing off.